Now let's learn the colorful words that are about being afraid. We put afraid in the category of feelings that are negative and inwardly directed. So let's get an overview of the colorful words that have to do with afraid. We have cower, dread, flee, harrowing, intimidated, nightmare, petrified, quaver, shudder, spooky, timid, tremble, trepidation, wary, and willies. Now we'll look at them in more detail. The word cower means to crouch down in fear. The sentence is, "The dog cowered in fear as the sound of thunder filled the sky." Or a child might cower if he's afraid that his parent will hit him. It's to bend down, afraid of being attacked. Dread, to anticipate with great apprehension or fear. The sentence is, Ben and Betty dreaded walking through the haunted forest, afraid that ghosts could appear at any time. Likewise, dread can be a noun. It's a great fear or apprehension. The sentence is, Emma was filled with dread every time her boss called her into his office. So as a verb, to dread is to have a great fear, and as a noun, it is the fear itself. Flee. It's related to fear because it's something we might do if we are very afraid. It's to run away from a place or a situation of danger. The sentence, Jack had to flee for his life when the massive enemy army started chasing him. The person who is afraid of being in a situation will flee to get physically out of the situation, to run away. The adjective harrowing describes something that's intensely distressing. The sentence, although they were happy to be alive, the plane's passengers were still trying to overcome the harrowing crash landing in the river. A harrowing experience is one that haunts a person long after it's over. For example, 9/11 was a harrowing situation for many Americans. Intimidated. That's being afraid because a person feels less powerful. The sentence, Marge didn't like the way her boss treated her, but because she knew her boss could fire her, she was intimidated and didn't speak up. If someone successfully intimidates somebody else, the victim is afraid to say or do something in their defense, or to speak up, or to protect themselves. A nightmare is a very bad dream or an event that is like a bad dream. For example, the sentence, Mr. and Mrs. Brown thought their cruise on the Diamond Princess would be wonderful, but it turned into a nightmare when the coronavirus broke out on the ship. Although the word nightmare comes from a very bad dream, a very terrible situation when awake is also called a nightmare. Petrified. That means being extremely frightened. The sentence, when Arnold realized that someone had electronically stolen his sheet with his 50 passwords to all his accounts, he was petrified, realizing all the harm they could do if he didn't stop them quickly. After a very long time, wood can become a rock. We say it becomes petrified. So when a person feels so afraid that they can't move, they feel as still and heavy as a rock, that's called being petrified. Quaver, as with a person's voice, when he shakes or trembles in speaking, typically through nervousness or emotion. For example, Todd's voice quavered as he suddenly realized he was speaking to 1,000 people in the audience. A person's voice might quaver and shake from fear. To shudder is to tremble and shake, typically as a result of fear. Zeke shuddered when he saw the creepy tarantula approaching him. When a person shudders, their body shakes. For example, a person may shudder if they remember a very bad memory, or if they are afraid to enter a situation that they think is dangerous. Timid. A person who is timid is shy and nervous, lacking confidence and easily frightened. The sentence, though Bill liked Sally, he was too timid to ask her for a date. A person is timid if he can't find the courage to do something he wants to do but is afraid to do it. Another example is a person who is too timid to ask for a raise or to raise his hand to ask a question in class. Tremble. To shake involuntarily, typically as a result of fear or weakness. The sentence, George trembled with fear when he saw a mouse in his apartment. When a person is so afraid that his body shakes, that's called trembling. In addition, a person's body or hand can tremble also from excitement, or from being very tired, or from old age. But most of the time a person is said to tremble out of fear. Another sentence, the Youngbloods song Get Together from 1967 has the line, "You hold the key to love and fear, all in your trembling hand." Trepidation, a feeling of fear or agitation about something that may happen. The sentence, Ellen was filled with trepidation as she walked through the dark forest. A person can have trepidation if he has a suspicion that something could be dangerous or could have terrible consequences. As a result, he has trepidation. He's afraid of getting involved or committing himself to a situation. Wary, feeling or showing caution about possible dangers or problems. The sentence, after having almost drowned, Kyle was very wary about going swimming when he went with his friends to the beach. A person is wary to do something if he suspects that it might be risky to do it. Another example, since Jim needed his money for day-to-day expenses, he was wary of investing in the stock market. The willies, a strong feeling of nervous apprehension and discomfort. The sentence, inside the abandoned house, the slightest sound gave Hannah the willies. You can say the thought of doing something dangerous, very risky, or illegal gave him the willies, or walking so close to the cliff gave him the willies. Here are the words that we've learned. Cower, to crouch down in fear. Dread, to anticipate with great apprehension or fear. Dread is a noun, which is a great fear or apprehension. To flee, to run away from a place or situation of danger. Harrowing, which is an experience that is intensely distressing. Intimidated, to be afraid because a person feels less powerful. A nightmare, a very bad dream or an event that is like a bad dream. To be petrified, which is to be extremely frightened. To quaver, to shake or tremble in speaking, typically through nervousness or emotion. To shudder, which is to tremble and shake, typically as a result of fear. Spooky, an eerie or ghostly atmosphere that causes feelings of fear. Timid, to be shy and nervous, lacking confidence and easily frightened. To tremble, to shake involuntarily, typically as a result of fear or weakness. Trepidation, a feeling of fear or agitation about something that may happen. Wary, feeling or showing caution about possible dangers or problems. And having the willies, a strong feeling of nervous apprehension and discomfort.